Oh, hello. Welcome to today's Decay, celebrating births and beginnings of everything important since the dawn of time. February 2nd edition. From me to you. Here are all the dates are really right. 1878, on this day, Maurice Tourneur was born. I am a huge Maurice Tourneur fan, if you couldn't tell. I feel like I've shown a bunch of his stuff, like from Victory, lobby cards, and books and stuff. There is, unless I'm out of the loop, there's only one book that really talks about him, and it's this one by McFarland Press. He was, I won't say the first horror director, because the genre doesn't start until 1931 with Dracula, at least not supernatural. But he was working in the horror field in a proto-horror genre, no question about it. As were people like Georges Méliès and a series of others, Benjamin Christensen, Roland West. So it's not to say he's like the only one, but man, is he early, and is he doing some really exciting stuff. Started in France doing film interpretations of Grand Guignol content, stuff like the Edgar Allan Poe's the strange case of Dr. Tar and Professor Feather, where the inmates of an insane asylum take over the asylum and murder all the assistants and doctors. And there's a scene where there's just like a closed door, and just like blood pools from underneath the door. And if that sounds familiar, it's because you probably saw it in the film The Leopard Man. His son, Jacques Tourneur, perhaps borrowed the scene. I don't know. Did he borrow it from an actual Grand Guignol stage play? Probably. But there's so much more in Maurice Tourneur. Let's see. He also did The Bluebird, which, I've never seen, and that would be a really good thing to see on his birthday. The Wishing Ring as well. These are all movies that, The Cub. So The Cub, 1915, is probably the first gangster movie. So he may have created a proto-horror director may have actually created the gangster genre himself. The Wishing Ring, I think, is so early that it's questionably, it wasn't predating Birth of a Nation as far as like defining what the three-act story structure and like true film language was going to be, but it's right up there with it. No question about it. Look at this one. 1916, The Hand of Peril. Now keep in mind, everything I'm talking about is lost. No, that's not true. Some of them are still around. But this one is definitely lost. The Wishing. The Hand of Peril. Look at that. Can you imagine? What an awesome set. The one that really transfixed me was The Brass Bottle, also lost. I'm gonna find it here though. Truly, so much of this is gone. Look at the Bluebird. I've got to see that movie. It's supposed to be quite a beautiful and like ethereal film that like explores like the fantasy world of these children's imaginations. I've got to see it. Got to see it. Where is it here? There's Victory. We've talked a lot about Victory already. I'm not going to reiterate that. Definitely see the 1919 Victory. Also, we talked the other day about While Paris Sleeps, the Lon Chaney Sr. Mad Wax Sculptor film. I won't go over it again, but, very exciting. Treasure Island, also a Chaney vehicle that he was like a whole series of pirates. And okay, I found it. I found it. Look at this. Feast your eye on The Brass Bottle circa 1923, a lost movie. And what a loss to culture. Look at that genie character. With the one giant cyclops eye. I have been really obsessed with this. The Brass Bottle, 1923, a stylish mixture of magic, the exotic, romance comedy, and a genie, right, played by Ernest Torrance, comprises Tourneur's fantasy. Island of Lost Ships, never seen that, always wanted to. It's a lost movie. Not to be confused with the one with Marlene Dietrich a couple of years later. This one, I think, is like supposed to be almost like Sargasso Sea, William Hope Hodgson type stuff, which is super cool and creepy. It's just like, you know, one frustrating situation after another, because so much of this doesn't exist anymore. I was gonna say, so the Brass Bottle, the genie with the one giant eyeball in the middle of his head. Here is the book, The Brass Bottle, that I from like 1910 or something like that. It's been on my to-do list of things to read for a very long time. It's really old and pretty brittle, so maybe not the best idea. Look at that, though. Fun. It's a real party over there. Maybe over here, too. I don't know. Anyway, so what else? Maurice Tournier. We got up to The Brass Bottle, 1923. So he started in France, came to America, worked in America, created his own company because he didn't want to deal with anybody else. Worked with Lon Chaney Sr. for a series of films at like the very beginning of Chaney's rise to stardom. I won't say his career because he started like 10 years before that, ish. Then he works on The Mysterious Island. Was he the second? First? Benjamin Christensen worked on The Mysterious Island. Maurice Tournier worked on The Mysterious Island. And then a third guy did. Each one of them along the way was like, forget it, I'm out of here. I can't deal with the MGM studio system or their need to push sound technology when it really wasn't up to speed yet. No pun intended, but still a worthwhile pun. Which, regardless of the production problems with Mysterious Island, it's a film really worth seeing. It does exist. Lionel Barrymore stars in it, and it's got these really great 1920s diving suits, and they go down to the bottom of the ocean. And there's just like thousands of these Donald Duck looking characters on the bottom of the ocean who, once they realize that inside these giant metal scuba diving gear are actually like people that are filled with blood and meat and they can eat them, it entirely changes the dynamic between these two different groups of characters. It's really good. I mean, come on. I think I just sold it, didn't I? Didn't I? So, yeah, he was not into the studio system. Neither was Benjamin Christensen. Both of them departed for their homelands after Mysterious Island. And went back to France and spent the remaining years of his life there working. And didn't do too much more from a horror supernatural standpoint, with the exception that I know of, because a lot of it's like hard to find, is The Devil's Hand, aka Carnival of Sinners, which is awesome. Awesome. It's like a monkey's paw / deal with the devil story. Not widely seen and ought to be. There's like a whole ethereal, almost like Carl Dreyer's Vampire feeling to it, or like Carnival Souls, I feel like at certain points. It's great. I mean, so here's a guy who, he was working in films like, when did he start? 1912. So, he's working in films for like 35 years, I guess. And is able to make The Devil's Hand near the end of his career. And it is it's fantastic. Yeah, he works till, what was his last film here, 48? So it's a pretty good chunk of time, right? 40 years of filmmaking. Not too shabby. Yeah, and he certainly inspires his son to go on and follow in his footsteps with working with Val Lewton on a series of supernatural film noirs, and then even more accomplished stuff in the mid-century and beyond. So yeah, quite the shadow, Maurice Tourneur casts, and yet most people don't know him as a artist and director himself. So please, McFarlane Press. I can't if I can't impress on you enough. This is the good book. The good book. That's not it though. There's plenty of other good books. On this day, 1925, the film The Lost World, Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World, premiered. It's a Wallace Beery picture. Here is the photoplay novelization from 1925. No dust jacket, sadly, but stills from the film throughout. There's dinosaurs! Watch out! Ah! And while this is all fine and well, this book was highly circulated and easy to come by. But what's super exciting is this May 1925 Science and Invention and Pictures magazine. Look at this beautiful thing with like gold cover, right? Dinosaurs abound in London. Great Britain is right. So this is like they would explain movie magic. And this was put together by Hugo Gernsback. Here we go. Here we go. Here's the Lost World content for you. Hugo Gernsback, of course, with amazing stories. Anyway, this is delicate stuff. I gotta be careful. But I think it's really beautiful and exciting, so I wanted to share. Look at that dinosaur. So much fun, right? Yeah. Anyway, what else? 1934, Betty Boop's Red Hot Mama cartoon premiered. Just a really fun Satan-related Betty Boop cartoon. You really kind of can't go wrong. And the Dyatlov Pass UFO incident. Am I pronouncing that right? Russian. Definitely don't know Russian, that's for sure. Dyatlov Pass UFO incident, which may or may not be a UFO incident, but it's certainly horrific and mysterious, and hikers came to a bad end. Yeah, so there you go. That's the whole day, February 2nd, from us to you. Till tomorrow. Goodbye.